We have entered the home stretch of the Major League Baseball season. It is the final month of the year, September, and we have a bunch of great races for you. And we're going to talk about it today on Flippin Bats. Top 5 teams that I think can win the American League. We got an AL West race, we have an AL East race. We got a lot to talk about here today. We're also going to talk about Justin's start on Sunday. My brother with a historic start on Sunday, striking out 10 guys through 121 pitches. It was insane to watch. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Aroldis Chapman because the man has had a resurgence on the mound. He just signed an extension, but the reason that Aroldis Chapman has had a resurgence is almost unfathomable for me. It is tough to comprehend the reason that Aroldis Chapman has turned it all around and put up a historic year for him in his career. But we'll talk about it. We're going to talk about that turnaround. We have power rankings. It is Monday, the first Monday of the month. So we have our new and improved top 10 Major League Baseball power rankings and then a FanDuel segment at the end because Flippin' Bats is presented by FanDuel. Bet baseball with us all season long on America's #1 sportsbook. I'm excited for this show today. We're really going to dive into the top 5 teams that win the American League, and I know I'm going to shock probably everyone listening with my pick. But I thought long and hard about it, and I feel good about my top 5. So we're going to dive in to my top 5 teams, 5 through 1, that I think can win the wide open American League. But let's start with what happened on Sunday with my brother. Just an incredible start. First outing with double-digit strikeouts since 2022, and the most pitches he's thrown in a game since 2018. So he got through 4 innings with like 8 strikeouts, and he was sitting at, I think, 90 or 91 pitches. So the Giants, who haven't given him much run support all year, second worst run support in all of baseball for a starting pitcher, Giants get out to a pretty good lead. It's 7-0. And Justin's sitting at like 90, 91 pitches through 4, and he needs to get through 5 to get the win. So I'm like, I assume he's going back out just based off of how this year has been, and he's got the run support here, and he just needs to get through 1. So he gets that, he does go back out. And I'm like, all right, we got to get through this. Let's make this inning quick. It was not a quick inning. It was not a quick inning. It was honestly tough to watch. He was just like literally just coming set, throwing, rinse, repeat, just trying to get guys to put the ball in play. Ends up throwing 121 pitches, striking out the last guy, his 10th and final strikeout of the day, putting him in more historic territory. These are the pitchers at age 42 or older with 120 plus pitches and 10 or more strikeouts in a game. Justin Verlander on Sunday, Randy Johnson in 2006, and Nolan Ryan 25 times. Nolan Ryan did it 25 times. Randy Johnson did it once in 2006, and Justin Verlander did it on Sunday. I can't tell you how proud I am of my brother. I really can't. I can't tell you how hard he works behind the scenes, in the scene, on the stage. It doesn't matter. The work that he puts in and the love that he has for pitching in the game of baseball can't be understated. I've watched him my entire life. I was born watching him throw a baseball, and here I am, 33 years old, still watching him throw a baseball as one of the greatest to ever do it. And to watch him on Sunday just made me like so proud as a younger brother of my older brother, so proud of like everything that has led to this step. You know, it was in 2021 after his Tommy John, when he was already almost 40 years old and everyone thought his career was over. To come back and win the Cy Young Award. There's been so many, and before that, people thought when he got traded to the Astros, people thought his career was over. There's been so many steps along the way where people are just like, nope, it's done. Father Time catches up with everybody, and that is true. Father Time is undefeated, but he hasn't yet defeated my brother. And I think that's what I'm so proud about is like just knowing how hard he works, knowing how much he loves the game of baseball and pitching and competing and putting himself in a position to do it every year, every start, every 5 days. And to watch him go out on Sunday and do something as historic as he did, man, it was so incredible to watch. So shout out to Bob Melvin for letting him go back out there for the fifth. I don't think he could have gotten him off that mound with a backhoe. I mean, he was going back out. But shout out Bob Melvin for not going to get him, for letting him throw 121 pitches and letting him get through that game. Again, elite territory. Only other pitchers with a 10 strikeout game at that age or older in the last 125 seasons. Roger Clemens, Nolan Ryan, Gaylord Perry, Justin Verlander. I don't even know what to say. That's insane to be able to say about my brother. I am so proud of him. Just absolutely insane, incredible. One of the greatest pitchers in the history of baseball. Still going, baby. Still going. That was on Sunday. Let's keep talking about older pitchers. I need to explain this Aroldis Chapman situation to those that have not heard it because it is genuinely, it's something that I can't quite fathom. So Aroldis Chapman has been great this year. If you haven't kept up, Aroldis Chapman is with the Boston Red Sox. And for the last few years, he's been a pitcher that still has thrown really hard, walks a lot of people, will get himself into trouble by walking usually at least one guy per inning and then striking guys out and getting out of it, but definitely like a hit or miss kind of guy. Well, he signed with the Boston Red Sox. He just got extended by the Boston Red Sox over the weekend, $12 million in 2026 with a $1 million signing bonus, because he's been phenomenal. Aroldis Chapman has gone 15 straight appearances and 44 batters without allowing a hit. He hasn't given up a hit since July 23rd. It's September. He hasn't given up a hit since July 23rd. He now has a 1.02 ERA in 53 innings this year. We're talking about a guy that I think will finish fourth place in the Cy Young Award voting. I think you have Tarek Skubal, Garrett Crochet, Hunter Brown, Aroldis Chapman. That's genuinely how I think this will finish up. That's how good he's been this year. He's only walking batters at a 2.4 walk rate per nine. His walk per nine ratio is 2.4. That's less than half of where it has been the last few years and the lowest of his career, 2.4, and his age 37 season. And the reason you will not believe. So in spring training, Red Sox catcher Connor Wong hit the button on his pitch comm that said inside fastball. It says in his ear, in Aroldis Chapman's ear, inside fastball. He throws an inside fastball. And after that outing, he goes up to Connor Wong and Jason Varitek and says, wow, I never thought about spotting my fastball before. I just threw it to home plate. So for the first time ever, Aroldis Chapman is actually trying to spot his fastball instead of just throwing it over the plate. And it has totally revived his career. It's crazy. And, it's not all that. Like, what do you mean? There's a lot of pitchers. When you throw 100 miles an hour, when you throw 103 miles an hour, and you can have command issues, it's just catcher, set up down the middle. His fastball is going to run. It's going to be hard. Just set up down the middle and just say, here you go. Here it is. It's 103 miles an hour. Good luck hitting it. And that's worked out, I would say, well for him and his career. But this spring training, it changed everything when he was told to throw an inside fastball. He did try and throw an inside fastball, and he spotted it up perfectly, and it's changed the course of his career. It's the old adage, aim small, miss small, right? You're not aiming for the mitt. You're aiming for a very small centimeter Try and hit a dime in the catcher's mitt. Don't try and hit the whole catcher's mitt. Don't try and throw it over the plate. Try and hit the black on the inside of the plate. So it sounds like this, like, of course, what do you mean just try and spot your fastball? It's the first time he tried to do that. He throws 103. It legitimately, for a guy that can have command issues, anybody just growing up, I guarantee you, he was just told, look, just catcher set up down the middle and just throw it. Just throw it to the catcher right in the middle of the plate. Who knows where it ends up, but it's going to work out well for you. But this is the first year that he's legit. Think of that. The first year, he's 37 years old. He's thrown 105 in his career. The first time in his career that somebody actually told him, let's throw this fastball inside. So now he hears in his ear inside fastball, outside fastball, and he's trying to do that, and it's revitalized his career. It's crazy to me, but it's honestly, I love this story. I truly, I think this is an incredible story. So, good on Aroldis Chapman. Hasn't given up a hit since July. Just signed an extension with the Red Sox. He's throwing fastballs to the inside and the outside of the plate. He's pitching. Aroldis Chapman, for the first time in his career, is pitching, not throwing. And I love it. Good on him. And it's not this crazy thing. I had AJ Minter was on the show a few years ago, and I asked him, he was throwing really well. And I asked him, like, hey, you were like an up and down guy in the big leagues. You didn't have command. You were trying to figure out how to stay in the big leagues. Then you got sent down, and then you came back up and have been good since you came back up. What changed? And he said, I went down and I realized my stuff is really good. I need to stop pinpointing and just throw it over the plate and say, here it is, hit it. So I just decided, just set up and I'm going to throw it as hard as I can and see what happens. So like that is a mindset. But for Aroldis Chapman, not doing that and trying to pinpoint a fastball has changed everything. A 1.02 ERA on the year. He will 100% get Cy Young votes. He will finish top 5. I think he finishes 4th. There's a possibility he finishes 3rd, but I think Hunter Brown finishes over him. So I'll say he finishes 4th. Good on Aroldis Chapman. Fun story as well. Let's talk top 5 American League teams. The American League is wide open. I actually said the World Series, the championship is wide open. The Dodgers aren't. The Dodgers aren't this team that's like the clear runaway favorite to win it. The Dodgers have their issues. But we'll do this in the National League perhaps next week. But we're going to do it in the wide open American League this week. Top 5 teams that can win the American League. Let's start at number 5. Number 5, I'm going the Toronto Blue Jays. The rotation is nasty. Kevin Goslin's been really good. Jose Barrios, Shane Bieber, since coming back from his injury, has had 2 stars. I don't know what we're going to get from Shane Bieber. We've seen one really good start. We've seen one pretty good start. But what are we going to get from him the rest of the year and the playoffs? Who knows? But like, if he can be the pitcher that he seemingly is, good rotation. And the offense is good. The offense goes as George Springer goes. And I know that's wild to say in a lineup with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. But like, look at the numbers. When George Springer is in the lineup and hitting well, the Blue Jays have been unstoppable this year. Then he got injured and Blue Jays, scuffled a little bit and now he's back. The offense is good. George Springer, Bo Bichette, Vladdy Jr., Anthony Santander is coming back but has not been good this year. Good offense. But the back end of the bullpen, I think, will cost the Blue Jays in October. There's a recipe to win in October. Starting pitching, and I think you need a good back end of the bullpen, and the Blue Jays don't have that. I do think that will cost them. Jeff Hoffman has been pretty bad in the back end lately. Got booed the other day in Toronto. So I think the back end cost them. That's the reason I have them at number 5, but I do believe they can. I do believe the Blue Jays are one of the teams that can do it because of their starting rotation and their offense. At number 4, I'm going the Seattle Mariners. Pitching, and then pitching. That's why I have them here. They are nasty on the mound. I don't care what their season ERA says. Just look at the guys they have. Look at the guys they can run out there. And that's why I think they're every bit a contender to win the American League. Because of the studs they have on the mound, because of the back end of the bullpen, Munoz in the back end. They're starters, and then they added enough on offense for me to consider them a true American League contender. I wouldn't have said that before. I would have said this is the same old team that's going to pitch and they're going to lose in the playoffs and they're gonna lose a 2-1 ball game when it matters the most. But I do think they added some guys that can run into a ball. Eugenio Suarez and Josh Naylor can run into a ball and hit you some homers at any point. Naylor is a clutch guy. They added thump to the lineup. So pitching is the reason I'm taking the Mariners in the top five at number four. And I do think they added enough offense to be considered a threat in October. Will the offense be enough? I don't know, but I do know they added enough pop to the lineup to pair with really good pitching. At number three, I'm going to go with the Detroit Tigers. I love the Tigers. I root for the Tigers. I want the Tigers to be good. I have had my concerns and doubts about the Tigers. Really, I don't, if I'm being honest, I don't think they've answered my concerns and doubts yet. They are getting better. They absolutely can win the American League. But my concerns coming into the year were that they needed to add another big bat. They didn't do that. I do think that could cost them in the playoffs. But my big worry is that they don't have a surefire number two or number three starter after Tarek Skubal. Jack Flaherty has not been the Jack Flaherty of the past year or so. He has not been his best. So then you look at what this playoff team is going to look like, and it's going to be very similar to last year. It's Tarek Skubal and chaos on the mound. And then it's an offense that added Gleyber Torres. That's a good pickup for them. And Torque has been better. And Javi Baez was an all-star this year. But like I can't realistically look at this Tigers team that right now on FanDuel Sportsbook is the favorite to win the American League. I can't sit here and say I feel the same. I wish I could. Can the Tigers win the American League? Absolutely. And I will be extremely happy if that happens. I don't want this to come off as me like being a Tiger hater by any means, but I don't look at this team as built with their current situation, with the rotation the way it is, and think, yeah, this team should be favored to win the American League. I do have doubts about them, so I put them at number three. Tarek Skubal's the best pitcher in baseball. From there, the rotation is going to be, look, AJ Hinch is the best manager in baseball, I think, too. We saw it in the playoffs last year. Tarek Skubal and then chaos, well, that chaos worked. And the rotation, the pitchers that they do have will be better. The chaos that will ensue after Tarek Skubal is better than the chaos they were able to create last year. And the offense is better than it was last year. This is a better team entering the playoffs than it was last year. But I don't know if it's good enough to get to the World Series and to knock off some of the juggernauts in the American League. And I hope I'm wrong. Let's move on to number two. The number two team that I believe can win the American League is the Houston Astros. The Astros have the fifth best odds to win the American League. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. Look, this rotation is getting healthier and healthier as the season goes along. They've had their struggles over the last week or over the last month, but they're just building their team for October. And it's clear and obvious to me when you look at what this team can run out at you in October, I think there's just a bit of exhaustion when it comes to the Houston Astros. I think people are bored with the Astros. Because look, this rotation in the playoffs is going to look like Hunter Brown, Framber Valdez, Christian Javier is back now with an ERA around 3.3. Luis Garcia is back now. So you have Framber, Hunter Brown, Christian Javier, Luis Garcia as legitimate starters in October. Offensively, you just got Yordan Alvarez back. You acquired Carlos Correa, who was a huge pickup at the trade deadline. Your Jeremy Pena is went through a time of missing a ton of games for injury. You'll have him for October. Jose Altuve, Jesus Sanchez picked up. Christian Walker picked up before the season. The offense is is good and deep. And then you have a back end of the bullpen that you need Josh Hader back, but Abreu and Hader in the back end is the best 8-9 inning punch I think out there. I don't want to say it's the best bullpen because it's not the deepest like the Padres have. But if Hader is back and healthy, and they need that, and it's still not guaranteed, but the time frame has him back roughly around the start of the playoffs. Abreu and Hader in the back end. Brian Abreu has an ERA under 1 in his last 30 games. Now, look, Abreu does have over a 4 ERA when pitching in the ninth inning, so that they do need Josh Hader back. But you pair them in the eighth and ninth with that offense and that starting rotation. I think the reason the Astros aren't talked about enough is because people are over them. People don't want the Astros to be good in October. People are tired of the playoffs ending up in Houston. And I know it wasn't the same last year, and the Tigers knocked them out early. They were dealing with a lot last year and had to run into Tarek Skubal and ended up losing early on in the playoffs. If they can win the division, if they can win the AL West and set up their rotation how they want with that offense and the rotation that has Hunter Brown and Framber at the top with a good back into the bullpen, I don't see why people aren't talking about them more. I have the Houston Astros as number 2 of teams that can win the American League. And at number 1, this is going to surprise a lot of people. The number 1 team that I think can win the American League is the New York Yankees. And I would not have said this a couple of weeks ago. The reason I think the New York Yankees are the team to beat in the American League is Cam Schlitter. Why, you ask? Because this kid is nasty, and he's the pitcher that they needed in the playoffs behind Max Fried and behind Carlos Rodon. You have this 24-year-old kid pumping 99-mile-an-hour heaters. He has a 2.61 ERA in his 9 starts, but in his last 23 and 2/3 innings, he's given up 2 earned runs. This kid, I talk about it often, this kid has playoff stuff. These are the playoff numbers that I look for when I look for a guy, any pitcher that I want on the mound. It's not the Marcus Stromans of the world. It's Cam Schlitter. Give me the guy that throws 99 with wipeout stuff, and I don't care if he has the experience. We're going to learn on the job if you got what it takes in October. But you're going to be the New York Yankees number 3 guy in October. That's what you're going to be. That's what I think should happen. I don't know if I trust or believe in Aaron Boone to push the right buttons in October. But I think the Yankees are the number 1 team that can win the American League because of Cam Schlitter needing to be in that playoff rotation. Giancarlo Stanton back and healthy, who I said this the other day, I think Giancarlo Stanton gets MVP votes. He's going to end up having played half the year, and I think he gets MVP votes. And for everyone online that said, what, who's going to vote for him for MVP? There's 10 spots you vote for, 1 through 10. Do I think Giancarlo Stanton gets first place MVP votes while playing 80 games? I do not. Do I think he gets first or second place votes over Cal Raleigh and Aaron Judge? I do not. But he's going to get top 10 MVP votes this year. And obviously this goes without saying, Aaron Judge needs to be Aaron Judge. But with Cam Schlitter, Giancarlo Stanton, and Aaron Judge to pair with the rotation that has Fried and Rodon, I think the Yankees are the favorite to win the American League because of the emergence of Cam Schlitter. And that's high praise for this kid. But that's how good I think he is. Watch his starts. He's dominant, he's nasty, and his stuff plays in October. So those are my top 5 teams to win the American League. The Blue Jays at 5, the Mariners at 4, the Tigers at 3, the Astros at 2, and the Yankees at 1. There's some outside factors here that play in. The Yankees haven't figured out how to beat the Astros in October. That's going to be a factor. Do they match up in the ALCS? We'll see. But yeah, those are my top 5 teams as we head into the final month of the season. I worry about the Red Sox after Garrett Crochet. I worry about the Red Sox. I know Giolito has been really good, but I have my concerns with him in October. I would have look. I did a top five. I would have the Red Sox right there on the cusp, probably at number six, but I did not put them in my top five to win the American League. It's Monday. It's September 1st. Let's talk power rankings. Top 10 new and improved Major League Baseball power rankings. We're going to start at number 10 with the Houston Astros. Down 2 spots. They're 2 games up in the American League West. Brutal series versus the Los Angeles Angels, losing that series. Won the series early in the week, but you can't lose that series with a playoff race, with a division chase on the cusp. You can't. So I dropped them down 2 spots to number 10. At number 9, the Boston Red Sox. They're staying the same. They lost the series to the Pirates over the weekend. Can't do that. Really good series early in the week against the Baltimore Orioles, sweeping them 4 games. I believe it was a 4-game series. Swept them. Great start to the week. Bad end of the week. Kept them the same. At number 8, the Chicago Cubs, down 1 spot. They were swept by the San Francisco Giants early in the week. And then they lost on Sunday to the Colorado Rockies. They won that series, yes, but we're at a point in the year, playoffs on the line, seeding on the line. You get to play the Rockies, you got to win all 3 or all 4. However many you're playing them, you got to win all of them. They lost the game on Sunday, swept by the Giants, dropped them down again to number 8. At number 7, up 3 spots, the New York Yankees. The Yankees did lose on Sunday to the White Sox, but coming into Sunday, they had won 7 straight ball games. They jumped the Red Sox in the AL East. They're now three games back of the Toronto Blue Jays for the American League East, the top of the American League East. The Yankees are coming. They're coming up the power rankings. They're coming up towards the Toronto Blue Jays in the AL East. They're playing good baseball right now. They had an easier week schedule-wise. They took advantage of it and won 7 games in a row. At number 6, the Detroit Tigers, down 1 spot. They did beat the Kansas City Royals over the weekend on the road. Good series there, but they were swept on the road against the A's early in the week. Not good. Can't do that. Tigers are fine. They're going to win the American League Central. They're going to coast to the American League Central and set up their pitching however they want for October. But right now, just not a great week, so drop them down another spot. Let's do top 5. My number 5 team this week, the Toronto Blue Jays, up 1 spot. They're up 3 games on the New York Yankees. They won the series against the Minnesota Twins. Then they lost 2 of 3 to the Milwaukee Brewers. Brewers are the best team in baseball record-wise. Will they be power rankings-wise? We'll see. But a really good series. That was a good series against 2 good teams. They did end up losing it, but I don't fault that. I don't knock them for a good series, good competitive series against the team that's the best record in baseball, winning the series early in the week. So I jumped them up over the Tigers, who had a worse week. At number 4, I'm going San Diego Padres. Down 1 spot. They lost both series to the Seattle Mariners and the Minnesota Twins, dropped them down to number 4. At number 3, up 1 spot, is the Los Angeles Dodgers. Also, not a great week, but they swept the Cincinnati Reds, and then they lost the weekend series to the Arizona Diamondbacks. But I flip-flopped the 2 because the Padres had a worse week. Dodgers did sweep the Reds, lost the weekend series. They're 2 games up in the NL West entering the final month. The NL West is another good race that we have, and the Dodgers enter the final month of the season up 2 games over the Padres. Number 2 for me, staying the same, is the Philadelphia Phillies. Swept by the New York Mets early in the week and then won 3 out of 4 against the Atlanta Braves over the weekend. So I kept them the same. Very good team. Not the best week in the world, but I kept them the same here at number 2. Meaning at number 1 again this week is the Milwaukee Brewers. They split with the Arizona Diamondbacks early in the week, and then they won the series, good series, against the Toronto Blue Jays over the weekend, keeping them the same. The best record still in the game of baseball is the Milwaukee Brewers. They are staying put here at the top of our power rankings. So 10 through 1 this week: Astros, Red Sox, Cubbies, Yankees, Tigers. Top 5: Blue Jays, Padres, Dodgers, Phillies, and the Brewers. Wrap up this week's power rankings. Before we finish up, a little FanDuel segment, because Flippin Bats is presented by FanDuel, number 1. Number 2, Tuesdays on FanDuel is Dinger Tuesday, where you can pick a player to get a 50% profit boost on him to hit a home run. Our pick this week is going to be Giancarlo Stanton against the Houston Astros. Great series. Giancarlo Stanton against Framber Valdez. Stanton is 6 for 16 against Framber with a homer. Give me those numbers. Give me a 50% profit boost. Let's all ride together and watch Giancarlo Stanton hit a homer against a guy that he sees very well at the plate. But you can check all that out on FanDuel Sportsbook. Every Tuesday is Dinger Tuesday. You can pick any player you want and get a 50% profit boost on that player to hit a home run. Fun show. It is September 1st, meaning we are just about, I think it ends on the 30th. We're 30 days away from the Major League Baseball season coming to an end, and we still don't know who is going to win a lot of divisions out there. The AL East is unknown. The AL West is unknown. The NL West is unknown. NL Central's looking like the Brewers. NL East is looking like the Phillies, but that's still up for grabs. There is a lot of unknowns out there, and it really, really matters for playoff seeding. So September is going to be a fun month for Flippin Bats. 2025 is the year of Flippin Bats. Been saying it all year long, and we have been rolling, and it has been a fantastic year for the show. I love and appreciate all of you so much for listening and watching, whether this is your first episode or your 200th episode. I actually don't know how many we're at over the years. But whether it's your first or your 200th, if we're there, I appreciate it. Please make sure you subscribe wherever you're listening to your podcast. Hit that subscribe, follow button. It's free to do so. But check us out on our YouTube channel as well. Flippin Bats Pod is our YouTube channel. I love hopping in the comments, having a conversation with you guys either during the live premiere or afterwards in the comments. But please subscribe there. That does really help. Hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment, like the video, and we'll have a conversation in there about what you think. But let me know what you think about the top 5 American League teams to win it this year and who you would have. Thank you all. We will be back soon with John Smoltz every single week. The Hall of Famer John Smoltz joins us here on the show, and that will happen again this week. Last week's was awesome. We had a really, really good conversation last week. So go back and listen to that if you haven't. But until next time with John Smoltz, remember, it's September, my friends. The playoff stretch is upon us. Enjoy it. We'll be back soon. And until next time, find your bat and flip it. Peace. Flippin Bats is presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Must be 21 and older and present in select states. For Kansas, an affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 and older and present in D.C. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. Or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts. Or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.